Then I added a couple of other interesting cards in here. Oh, right. This is the deck that is now going to house my sensei's Divining Top.
Mm.
Because why wouldn't I just top to make sure I cascade into a good thing before hitting something else? And the deck now only has 2 instants. Very low interaction in this deck, just because I just need to hit the thing and then go. And any cards that aren't hitting the thing and going are run counter to everything. There's basically no interaction. But I added 2 instants to the deck. Brainstorm. Brainstorm just makes sense if you're going to be cascading. I could even set up a double cascade if a card in my hand has cascade. Drop it on top.
We won, right?
And one other card, because again I'm going to be discarding stuff. Noxious Revival, which is a Phyrexian green, so it can always be cast. For put target card from a graveyard on top of its owner's library. If I discard something I really wanted, I can just cascade back into it. Some other fun stuff is I think I don't know if I added more than one, but I put Ancestral Vision in the deck just because. That's the it's target player draws 3 cards, you know. Ancestral Recall, except it's got no mana cost and suspend 4 for a blue. But if you cascade into it, its mana value is 0, so you can always cast it.
Yeah.
More wheels. Oh, I also put in...
I need a brief break. I will be back in a minute.
I'll keep talking about Yidris while you're doing that. Another cool card that I didn't know about is called Echo of Eons. Haha, get it? But the reason it's cool is because it's a card that can get my graveyard back. It's each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library, then draws 7 cards. It runs 2 functions simultaneously, which is always something you want to do in Magic. If you can have a card that performs 2 functions you want, it's always better than a card that might be cheaper but only performs one of those functions. It makes people draw, which triggers all my draw payoffs. I have many cards in the deck that when I draw a card or when other people draw a card, I think maybe it's just when I draw a card, but there's payoffs for people discarding. That's how I generally win. Is there's a bunch of enchantments that say whenever an opponent discards a card, they take 2 damage, and then I just play wheels and make them discard their whole hand, which does a lot of damage. That's generally the win con. But this one, you draw 7 cards, you get a fresh new hand, so you get lands to play, you get 7 draw triggers off of like Psychosis Crawler. It's also in this deck. You know, a Niv Mizzet or something else that cares about you drawing, and it gets my graveyard back into the library, so I don't lose those cards. But the best part about it is it has flashback by default. 2 and a blue. So if I accidentally wheel out my Echo of Eons, I can just flash it back, get my graveyard back. Very nice card. That is Chronos Reach. Everyone knows what that does. What is this card? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Korvath's Fury. It's just another wheel, but like if someone's close to death, I can... here, I'll read it off. For each player, choose friend or foe. Each friend discards all the cards from their hand, then draws that many cards plus 1. See again. Discard and draw payoffs. Or cards to trigger the payoffs. Or Korvath's Fury deals damage to each foe equal to the number of cards. So if somebody has a bunch of cards, I can just hit them for a large amount without cycling their hand. That's going to kill them. Alright, what else did I put in this deck? More wheels. I decided to put an Exploration in this deck. A little bit on the pricey side, but this deck needs to ramp super hard, so being able to play extra lands per turn. And since I'll be cycling my hand, I'll be able to capitalize on that. A recent ad, which isn't in this most recent upgrade I did, but it was a fairly recent thing when I used to have a cycling deck in Esper colors featuring Zur as the commander. I've dismantled that deck since I don't like how consistent it was. I feel like that's against the spirit of commander to have tutors that readily available. And Zur was just tutor for a card whenever it attacks. Way too easy to just get exactly the thing you need and win the game. So I dismantled that deck and replaced it with a different commander, different color scheme. So my Archfiend of Ifnir, since the deck's no longer black, couldn't use it in that deck. Why not put it in this deck? Whenever you cycle or discard another card, put a -1/-1 counter on each creature your opponents control. Play a wheel. If my hand's full, everything my opponents control get 7 -1/-1 counters, and they presumably die. It's a very nice payoff for discard. That's what I mean by that.
I return.
Nice. Yeah, so yeah, just, you know, load it up on more discard payoffs, draw payoffs, and wheels, and
better be ready.
Better Cascade support, and that's the deck. Cascade and wheels. My Dragon deck, why not? It's the money deck. Whether or not I want it to be. Just dragons are pricey.
Hey, is everyone?
But fun fact. Last time you thought about the card Karthus, Tyrant of Jund, what do you remember it being?
I honestly no clue.
Okay, that's fine. That's a card that I think I thought about a lot because it was a dragon. That card used to be like $30+. But I looked at it recently when I was doing this, and I was like, oh, that's like $3. It got reprinted in Double Masters, so it is no longer
Not even worth my time.
The like, I don't know if I should put that in my deck pricey sort of card. But that's good. I gotta get one of those. Probably one of the best ads for the deck in general is Morophon, right? Morophon the Boundless. So 7 generic for 6/6. Shapeshifter, has Changeling. So is a dragon. Very nice. As Morophon the Boundless enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. We're gonna not be choosing dragon. Spells of the chosen type you cast cost white, blue, black, red, green less to cast. This effect reduces only the amount of colored mana you pay. And other creatures you control the chosen type get +1/+1. The last ability is irrelevant, but this is a 5-color deck, and it removes one of each color pip from the casting costs of your dragons. Notably, the Dragon having all 5 of those. Play Morophon. Dragon now costs 4 mana for a 10/10. That's great.
I think my favorite thing that ever happened with that Dragon deck is I'm gonna use that vampire.
Oh yeah, you use the vampire
It turns
to steal
it into a vampire and replaces all instances of the word
dragon with vampire. Yeah,
with vampire.
Yeah, that was a cool play. That was a good one.
Turning it into the vampire.
Vampire, yeah. Yeah. But anyway, a lot of really like classically good dragons got some reprints recently. Balefire Dragon got reprinted in Commander Masters, so it got a little bit of a price drop, not a huge one, but it's not $60 anymore or whatever it used to be. So it's going in.
You won't get any pity or compassion from me.
Drakuseth, Maw of Flames is a cool dragon that was printed recently. Whenever it attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target and 3 damage to each of us, up to 2 other
Quitting
targets.
is the same as defeat.
So, just fire everywhere. This card is ridiculous for this deck. Hellkite Courser. All right. I don't know who you are.
He's from Zisteria.
Oh, okay.
Main
That
character.
Makes sense. That makes sense. All right. Nope. Well, those have to go on Magulu, right?
No, I think Magulu looks
Magulu
great
with the shades.
with the shades.
Yeah.
Well, oh, we have to like, yeah, I like the shades better.
Yeah, I mean the shades are better, but like
the shades just make her look so tired. It just makes it look like she's covering up horrible bags under her eyes.
Listen, Magulu's now permanently hungover. It's fine.
Right?
It's fine.
What are you doing, you druggo?
All right, so yeah, so Hellkite Courser. The mana cost and everything are irrelevant. It's less than Dragon, which is what's relevant here. And gets its cost reduced by Dragon because Dragon's dumb and Eminence was a mistake. But when Hellkite Courser enters the battlefield, you may put a commander you own from the command zone onto the battlefield. It gains haste. Return it to the command zone at the beginning of the next end step. Oops.
Can I cross the bridge? I cannot.
Just, you know. Oopsie. Commander's out on turn 4.
Yeah.
Or whenever I manage to get enough mana to... Whenever I get to 5 mana, you know. Oh, good. The bridge stayed. So yeah, that's a card. Progenitus is still in here for the laughs. Doesn't get any cost reduction from Morphon, but still. What it does do is still get immediately able to be cast by Ramos.
Yeah.
That's always an amusing combination. Just, did you cast 5 colors worth of spells? Okay, here's a Progenitus. That's what that reads. Okay, for people who don't, or just listening, don't understand what I'm talking about. Ramos, Dragon Engine, 6 mana, 4/4, flying, 6 mana, I say 6 generic, it's an artifact creature, dragon. Whenever you cast a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Ramos, Dragon Engine, for each of that spell's colors. So, anywhere from 0 to 5 +1/+1 counters. And second activated ability, remove 5 +1/+1 counters from Ramos. Add white, blue, black, red, green to your mana pool. Activate this ability only once each turn, because otherwise that's just a combo engine in and of itself. But Progenitus is a legendary creature Hydra avatar, not a dragon, notably. 10/10. Has the best line of text in any Magic the Gathering card, aside from you win the game, which is protection from everything. That just means basically nothing can touch it outside of...
nothing can target it.
Nothing, well, yeah, nothing can target it, nothing can deal damage to it. So you have to, the only way to kill it is with a board wipe. But if Progenitus would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, reveal Progenitus and shuffle it into its owner's library instead. So the only way to actually get rid of it is there's a couple board wipes that exile. So that's the only way to get rid of it. You can't even kill it with combat damage because you can't even block Progenitus. Nothing can block Progenitus. Anyway, point is, Progenitus's mana cost...
Progenitus blocks something, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't, yeah. And Progenitus can block something and you can't deal damage to it. There are actually a couple of creatures where that matters. There are a couple of spiders or snakes, I forget, that say whenever this creature blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, destroy that creature at end of combat. So if you block one of those creatures with Progenitus, I think it will still die. Because it doesn't target. But it can't block Progenitus, so half of that ability will never work. Anyway, point is, the important thing is, the reason why I bring up Progenitus with Ramos in the same sentence is Progenitus's mana cost is white, blue, black, red, green. So, just activate Ramos, place Progenitus on the field. Hey, one of the old Dominaria legendary dragons got its way into the deck, but not in its original form. Rith, liberated Primeval. It's pretty good. 2 red, green, white, 5/5, flying, ward 2. Other dragons you control have ward 2. And at the beginning of your end step, if a creature or planeswalker an opponent controlled was dealt excess damage this turn, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. So, if you chump block, I get a dragon. I believe is how that reads, right?
Yeah.
Creature or planeswalker an opponent controls was dealt excess damage. Yep. If you chump block, which is a term, again, because people who don't know Magic might be listening or watching. Hi, by the way. Chump block is a term for throwing a small creature in the path of a large creature when a large creature is attacking, because without the ability called Trample, which I'll explain in a second, all the damage from the attacking creature has to be assigned to the blocking creature. So any damage beyond what would kill it is called excess damage. And Trample states that excess damage can be assigned to the creature's controller instead of the creature. That's what Trample reads. So if you block a 7/7 with a 1/1, the 1/1 dies. End of story. If you block a 1/1 if you block a 7/7 Trample with a 1/1, 1 damage is assigned to the 1/1, and 6 damage is assigned to the controller of the creature. So Trample actually turns this ability off entirely. Does it? I think you can still over-assign damage still, but I think if you do that, do you have to assign all of your damage if you do that? That's actually a ruling I'm not sure on. So you can over-assign damage to a creature if you feel like it, but then you lose out on the trample from that, of course. But I don't know if you can piece out. I don't know if it's all or not. I don't know if over-assigning damage. That's something I have to check out the ruling on, because the game is complex. Anyway, I also added to this deck Scion of Draco.
Hey, is everyone all right?
Because Draco is just a little bit too iffy for the deck, but Scion of Draco, which they printed in Modern Masters 2, it still has Domain, so the spell costs 2 less to cast for each basic land type among lands you control, which is good because Scion of Draco is normally 12 generic mana for a 4/4 with flying, and one of the most amusing abilities I've seen. Each creature you control has Vigilance if it's white, Hexproof if it's blue, Lifelink if it's black, First Strike if it's red, and Trample if it's green.
Kind of weird assortment of.
It's really weird, yeah. Terror of the Peaks, another big, really good dragon that's really pricey because it was really good.
Anyway, I think completed the puzzle in this dungeon.
Yeah.
So
and then a really weird card. 2-headed Hellkite. 1 white, blue, black, red, green for a 5/5 flying menace haste. Whenever it attacks, draw 2 cards. Just really good 5-color dragon. I don't know why they decided to print that, but I will not complain. Oh, another thing. They reprinted Mirari's Wake in a set recently, so it's dirt cheap. So every deck I have now that has green and white gets green. Because why wouldn't you? Yeah, Scion of Draco. I might not be able to cast it for 4 mana very often. I just realized this is a 5-color deck. I only have 2 of each basic not named mountain and only 4 mountains.
Stop fooling around.
But I'm serious.
Not very many basic. Anyway. That. Arcadie's got basically no changes. Muldrotha didn't get any huge changes,
Don't waste
but
my time.
Lion's Eye Diamond.
Lion's Eye Diamond or 3 new decks. Which do I choose?
Lion's Eye Diamond is getting cheaper, and then they announced Muldrotha.
They were nothing.
Yeah, so Muldrotha didn't get any huge upgrades, but I'm glad I didn't decide to purchase the cards for the Muldrotha upgrade yet, because remember how I said Lost Caverns of Ixalan is a thing?
Mm-hmm.
One of the mechanics in Lost Caverns of Ixalan is Descend,
I feel the power coming from further inside.
and there are 2 functions of
Very
Descend.
intriguing.
Cards either say Descend, or they say when you descend.
Okay.
So, Descend is how many permanents are in your graveyard. That's your Descend. And
Okay.
when you descend is permanents entering your graveyard that turn.
Okay.
Muldrotha is all about permanents in the graveyard. Also recently, I don't know if you know this, but they introduced a new permanent type.
What's that?
A battle.
Okay. Yeah, I was aware of this.
Yeah, so battles are a
one?
thing now, so that's a new permanent for Muldrotha to be able to cast. So I added a couple of those. I don't need to go into it too much, but... Oh. Of course.
Well, there you are.
That barrier again.
Looks like we were right. Another Therian.
Just as Velvet conjectured, each of the 7 heads seems to assume a different form.
The sensation. It was here.
Oh, look at that. I guess your hunch panned out too, kiddo.
This is just how I felt in Ward Forest. That must have been an Earth Pulse point back there, too.
Well, what are we going to do with this one? Can we get it to shrink like that bug of yours?
I don't care whether it lives or dies. As long as we defeat it and take out one of Inominat's heads, that's all that matters.
Don't worry about
That'd
getting
be
through the barrier.
very
We're not gonna show that. You already know what's gonna happen.
Now, rise, arise, ascending, angel! Crimson Servant, worthy! No mercy!
Wounds that won't heal!
Caught in the flesh! Lethal ray! Crimson Servant,
Let's see. Well, we can go over my Brea deck. That got a fair number of cards. You know what? I just realized I haven't been talking about the commander's abilities for a lot of these. And people can search them. Up. But I will talk about Brea. Just because sometimes it helps to know about the commander's abilities to evaluate how the deck works.
You wronged me!
Yeah, Brea.
Justice! By the order!
Blue, black, red for a 4/4 legendary artifact creature human. And Brea, Ethereum Shaper, enters the battlefield with one blue softer artifact creature tokens.
There's the full color commander.
Brea's what?
Brea's just not red, right?
Yeah, not green.
Not green. That's right. No ramp.
It was Brea was part of that set from what was it, 2016, I think. 2016 Commander set where there were
It
5
was
4-color commanders.
Probably the strongest of the 4-color commanders, honestly. Definitely the most hostile.
It's a toss up between Brea and Atraxa.
Better watch your step!
Atraxa is also ridiculous.
Can't heal until I have.
But anyway, the activated ability on Brea, 2 generic, sacrifice 2 artifacts, choose one. Either Brea deals 3 damage to target player or planeswalker. Target creature gets -4/-4 until or you gain 5 points. So first 2 abilities are really good. Second one can get you out of a bind, or third one I should say, can get you out of a bind. But not really going to get used that often. But yeah, there's a Brea got a couple of tools in some of the more recent sets, just due to artifacts in general getting some tools. We got Alibou, Ancient Witness, which gives other artifact creatures you control haste, and whenever one or more artifact creatures you control attack, Alibou, Ancient Witness deals X damage to any target and scry X, where X is the number of tapped artifact control. So, note that that doesn't read attacking creatures, tapped artifacts. So, you can tap them for any other purpose, it counts your tapped artifact lands. You only have to swing with 1 creature. It's pretty cool. That was a cool one. I added more. Continue in a second here.
I don't think this Therian's getting any smaller.
The demon again! I'm not letting you go this time! Is that Therian eating the demon?
The Therian! It ate her! Malevolence must refer to demons then.
Feeding on demons. I know what that's like.
Mommy. Mommy. Look! It turned into a little girl!
Is that Kamoana?
Mommy, why? Why did you leave me all alone? Did I do something wrong? Was I too weak? I'm sorry, Mommy. I'm sorry.
No! This can't be happening!
I tried so hard to be strong for you, Mommy. The man from the Abbey made me strong. So please, Mommy, please come back.
The Abbey made her strong?
By turning her into a Therian? Jeez, those happy jokers really get off on this sacrifice stuff, don't they?
I can't believe it. Then That woman, she was trying to save her own daughter.
Mommy! Mommy! I miss you. Mommy!
Dying, unable to save her daughter, all she could do was offer herself to feed her hungry child.
No, this is my fault.
So, should we bring her with us?
Someone like her will only slow us down.
That Therian isn't going anywhere.
Oscar, what is the Abbey doing? Please tell me, I have to know.
Eleanor, the less you know, the better.
I must know. I killed her mother, and then the poor girl, she...
Ah, so she must have devoured the demon. But don't let that trouble you. The demon was a necessary sacrifice.
Don't let our obvious evil schemes trouble you.
There wasn't just some demon. She was a mother. She was all this girl had. Her one and only mother.
Be that as it may, those who possess strong wings must...
It's not nice to make a girl cry.
Kamawana.
It's now or never.
Out of the way, Laphicet. Wait! Have you no compassion? This isn't up for discussion. I thought you just wanted to weaken Innominat! You can sever the link! You don't have to kill her! Velvet!
Oh, someone's had a change of heart. Apparently, a woman's tears truly do have frightening power.
I'm just curious about something Grimoire said. I can always kill this one later.
If we're taking her with us, we'd better grab her and go. No sense lingering in the enemy's territory.
Hey, Kamawana. My name's Laphicet. Do you want to come with me and my friends and get out of here?
Where's my mommy? I'll be lonely without her.
You're not alone, sweetie. I promise. Even if she's far away, your mother will always be looking over you.
How do you know?
Because... that's what my mother does for me, too.
Let's go, Kamawana.
Okay.
What was that about Battle Chain?